We're ready to put our Boston butt on the big green egg. We have our tools all ready to go, and let's get this thing going. So, like I said, we're going to throw a few more chunks of apple wood on here. You can soak it in water, but this is such a long cook at a slow temperature, we're not too worried about having any kind of issues. Look at that. It's already smoking away. We'll add a couple more in there. It's going to cook all night, so it needs some fuel. Good thing about the eggs is it doesn't really use a lot of fuel. And we're not going to add any more as it does its thing. Alright, so that's in there. Big green egg is going to keep the moisture in as well, so we don't have to worry about food drying out. This is called a plate setter. You can put it in this way or this way. We're going to go this way because we need it to sit there so the fire doesn't go directly onto the pork roast, our Boston butt. We're going to put it in there. And we're going to close the lid right now so the temperature doesn't get too hot. And here's our good friend. Earlier on we rubbed this with some mustard, and then we had some pork rub, some dry pork rub that we used to pat it down with. We wrapped it in saran wrap, and then we put it in the fridge for, I don't know, it's been 4 or 5 hours or so. But now it's ready to go into the cooker. So here's my injection needle, kind of a scary looking device, kind of like a Nurse Jackie thing maybe, but it's really for barbecue. This is so that we can put our injection marinade, which is going to be Creole butter from Cajun Injector. Good stuff. This is so we don't have to put the needle into the injector bottle and then into the meat and then back in here. You don't want to do that. You want to put this in here and draw it from here and there. And then when you have some left over, just throw it away. So you keep what you have originally clean. You don't have any contamination from the pork. Alright. It's kind of a thin liquid. Tastes delicious. You don't need to inject too much. But you don't want to skimp on it either. So they have different flavors, different kinds and styles. And you can find this online as well. It's really cool. Alright, so now we do the deed here. Get our big injector needle going. Draw some in. You can see how that works. You know, there's no master science to this. You just kind of poke in and spread it around. Oh, there's the bone. I like that. Get some down there by the bone. And get a little over there. Get a little there. Get some back over here. It's a really tough cut of meat, this Boston butt, pork shoulder, you know, whatever you want to call it. But it is the shoulder, and it does have the bone in it. And it's really tough and gristly. And if you don't cook it low and slow, you'll never be able to eat it. But in about 14 hours from now, we're going to have some pulled pork sandwiches. And they're going to be great. So, finish injecting. And that's about enough. There's going to be so much flavor, it's just ridiculous. And, you know, then, of course, when you're eating, you can put barbecue sauce on a bun or whatever you need. Okay, that's ready. We're going to set our temperature on this. So we're going to go pit. And we want this to be 235. Okay, and then we want the food to be 195. What happens on this is it's going to hit about 170, wrong way, and then it's just going to sit there for hours and hours and hours while all the fat and all the connective tissue kind of breaks down, and it'll drive you crazy, but you just have to trust that that's the right thing to do. And then it'll break through there and climb up to 180, 190, then you're good to go. Alright, there's our bad boy big green egg. I'm going to say adios to you for a few hours. We have a drip pan with a little bit of apple juice in there just for fun. Close the lid. Before we do that, we're going to make sure we have our probe inside of our Boston butt. There it is. That's the meat probe. That's the temperature probe. So obviously we don't want to be next to the bone. So the meat probe we're going to put in there. And the temperature probe we're going to drop right into the top this time. Just kind of put it there. And now this is going to tell you the temperature of the meat, which came out of the fridge. It's 47, pretty cold. The temperature of the pit and the big green egg is about about 97. All right, that's it. Time to clean up. Check it in about an hour and go to bed. All right, so this is like 20 hours after we put the Boston butt in the big green egg, and the temperature, as you can see, is up to 190. The egg's been smoking for 20 hours. It's only 7 pounds. That sounds pretty crazy, and you think it's like a dried up little crumb. But because the big green egg is so thick, it actually keeps all the moisture in. We didn't baste it. We didn't do anything to it. We didn't add fuel to it. It just burned and smoked. It'd probably go another 24 hours if we wanted it to. When we open this up, it should be like a little black meteorite that fell out of space. And you'll say, oh my God, it's burned to a crisp. You could never eat that. But actually what you're seeing is really delicious smoky outside, which is called the bark. And then inside of that's going to be the pork. And later on we're going to pull apart the pork and have pulled pork sandwiches. But right now what we want to do is get it off the fire and get it into our pan, cover it, and let it cool off for about an hour. Here it is, 20 hours of a Boston butt in the big green egg. It looks like this. Whoa. A little smoky. That is the char on the outside, not charred from fire or being burned, just from smoke. It's called the bark, and it's really delicious. So when you get pulled pork sandwiches, you can kind of chop the whole thing up and give a little piece here and a little piece there. It's also kind of what makes carnitas have that really delicious chewy taste. So we'll take out the temperature probe. You can already see the meat there, how it's really soft inside and looking good. Just for fun, let's show you guys just a little bit of what's going to be inside here. We don't want to open it up really, but just because. Look at that. See that pink red smoke ring? Kind of right there. There's still a bone in here, so we want to pull it apart, get rid of the fatty stuff. But basically, there's your smoke ring. There's your pulled pork inside, all cooked and done, nothing pink on the meat. And the black part is your crust. It's very nice. Now we are ready to pull the pork from our pulled pork Boston butt roast. And you know, you just dig in. That's how you do this. There's not really a secret to it. It kind of comes apart in pieces. You can see that there. It's still really hot. Basically, we're going to go through this and kind of pull out the fat, which is nice because when you cook at home, you don't get the cheap fat cuts like you might in a restaurant. And put the stuff we like in this nice dish here. Then we're going to chop it up and we're going to make a sandwich. So I'm going to go through this and kind of dig this apart. But if it just falls apart, you just take it apart by your hand. Which is what we're going to do now, because we're going to make a sandwich. So here's a few different sauces. Everybody has their own favorite. Here's a quick little idea for you, kind of almost a traditional pulled pork sandwich. We're going to take some Everett and Jones barbecue sauce, some local Oakland barbecue sauce, tastes delicious. It's a little tangy, it's a little sweet. It goes really well with the sandwich we're going to make. Pour that into there. And now we're going to take our buns, you know, just regular old buns, and we're going to dip these like that. And we're going to make sure we do the bottom because you only want half of your bun to have flavor like that. Alright, that's pretty prepped. We're going to drop in some coleslaw that we have, give it a nice tangy flavor with some coleslaw. It's going to be perfect. And I'm going to add a little bit of this from Hoi Fong Foods Incorporated. Really hot stuff, so you know, you only want a little bit, but it'll definitely add a little kick. And of course, since it's my pulled pork, I'm going to use my fingers and drop in a few layers of this delicious pulled pork sandwich. Put the top on, give it a little flip. Look at that, man. There you go. Delicious pulled pork sandwich. Took about 20 hours to make, and we're good to go. That's it. Good eating.